The restaurant was alive with the clinking of silverware and the soft hum of conversation, but John Neely Kennedy barely noticed. He was stirring his coffee absent-mindedly, letting the warmth seep through the porcelain into his fingers. It had been a long day, and he was grateful for a quiet dinner alone. His plate was half-finished, fried chicken, cornbread, and a heap of mashed potatoes he could barely touch after the long Senate session. He was just about to signal the waitress for the check when a timid voice broke through the chatter. "Sir, can I have your leftovers?" John turned, startled. Standing beside his booth was a young boy no older than 12, his hair messy, his clothes patched and far too thin for the cool night outside. His eyes weren't mischievous like most boys his age, they carried a heaviness, a weight that didn't belong to childhood. John blinked, trying to process what he'd just heard. Before he could answer, the boy's gaze fell on the cornbread and potatoes on his plate. His hands fidgeted, his lower lip trembling as if he was bracing himself for rejection. "Son," John said gently, "what's your name?" The boy hesitated. "Eli." "Well, Eli," John replied softly, pushing the plate toward him, "this food's yours. But tell me, where's your mama and daddy?" That's when John noticed something that made his chest tighten. Eli's shoes, worn sneakers with holes in the toes, were soaking wet. His jeans were muddy at the hem. But it wasn't just that. Behind Eli, peeking timidly through the doorway, was a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 7. Her hair was tangled, and she clutched a ragged stuffed rabbit so tightly John thought the seams might burst. John's heart clenched. "Is that your sister?" he asked softly. Eli nodded. "Her name's Anna. We don't got anywhere to go tonight." The words hit harder than John expected. He swallowed, fighting the ache in his throat. He looked at the waitress, who was frozen, eyes wide with sympathy. He motioned her over and whispered, "Bring another 2 plates. Full meals. Whatever they want." Minutes later, Eli and Anna were eating like they hadn't touched food in days. John sat quietly, not interrupting, letting them have their moment. But questions burned in his mind. Why were 2 children wandering the streets alone? Where were their parents? When the plates were finally scraped clean, John leaned forward. "Eli, son, I need you to tell me the truth. Where's home?" Eli lowered his head. His voice was barely a whisper. "Mama got sick last year. She passed. Daddy, he left after that. We been trying to stay in the shelter, but it's full. Sometimes we sleep by the bus station." John felt a heaviness settle in his chest, heavier than any debate, heavier than any political fight he'd ever been through. He could see the fear in Eli's eyes. Not just for himself, but for his little sister. John picked up his phone. "Excuse me for a moment," he said gently, stepping acid.